Welcome to the deep dive. Today, well, we're getting into something really interesting. It's all about how we interpret the world.
Yeah, how we make sense of things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're using some materials actually designed for kids, workbooks, worksheets, that kind of thing, focused on thoughts and emotions.
But don't let that fool you. The ideas here about flexible thinking and these thinking traps, they're incredibly relevant for all of us.
Totally. Our mission really is to explore how our first take on a situation, our initial interpretation, might not be the whole story.
And how we can maybe learn to see other possibilities. It's about getting unstuck from those first thoughts.
So let's jump in with this idea. The materials talk about snap judgments.
Right, those immediate conclusions we draw.
They use a really neat comparison, actually. Optical illusions.
Oh, yeah, I like that. Where you can look at the same picture and see maybe two different things.
Exactly. And it's kind of the same with life events, isn't it? There's often more than one way to understand what just happened.
Absolutely. These snap judgments, they happen fast. Sometimes they're helpful, sure, but other times...
Especially when feelings are running high, right?
Definitely. Strong emotions can really color those first interpretations. They might not be the most accurate or even the, let's say, the happiest way to see things.
The worksheets had some great examples, like this kid, Jack. Some kids laugh nearby.
And he instantly thinks, they're laughing at me.
Right. Or his friend doesn't wave back.
So Jack thinks, oh, she must be mad at me. No other possibilities considered, just that one negative one.
Yeah, and the baseball example, too. Strikes out once.
And concludes he's just terrible at baseball. Full stop.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? We can probably all remember times we've done something similar, made that leap.
We really can. And what's important to see there is how quickly that one, often negative, idea becomes the only idea. That's the reality.
I guess leads us straight into these thinking traps.
Exactly. That's what the material calls them. These unhelpful shortcuts our brain takes, especially, like you said, when we're feeling strong emotions.
And they even gave them names, like little characters, which I thought was quite clever.
Yeah, it helps make them memorable. So first off, you've got Jumping Jack.
Okay, Jumping Jack, what's his deal?
He jumps to conclusions. He's convinced something bad is definitely going to happen, even with little evidence. Like, here's about a plane crash on the news.
And thinks his plane is bound to crash next week. High certainty about a bad outcome.
Precisely. Then there's Psychic Suki.
Let me guess.
Mind reading.
You got it. She thinks she knows exactly what other people are thinking, usually something negative about her without any real proof.
Like the friend not saying goodbye example again. Suki knows it's because the friend doesn't like her anymore.
Right. No checking, just assuming. Then comes Disaster Daryl.
Oh, dear. Disaster Daryl sounds dramatic.
He is. He always thinks the absolute worst possible thing will happen, and crucially, that he won't be able to cope with it. So, failing a test isn't just bad.
No. For Daryl, failing a test means he'll flunk out of school, never get a job, and, end up homeless. It escalates wildly.
Wow. Okay. And the last one.
Negative Nina. She's all about ignoring the positive.
Focusing only on the bad stuff.
Exactly. Gets a B on a test, maybe. Instead of seeing all the answers she got right, she just obsesses about the ones she missed. Dismisses any success.
It's kind of uncomfortable how familiar some of those sound.
It really is. And they have activities like matching thoughts to the traps, which just shows how these patterns pop up in everyday thinking.
So recognizing them, just spotting them, is kind of the first big step.
That's definitely step one. You can't change something if you don't even realize it's happening.
Which brings us to getting out of these traps, developing that flexible thinking we mentioned.
Right. The materials suggest a sort of three-step process to climb out. We can maybe touch on the first two today.
Sounds good. What are they?
Okay, so step one is what we just talked about. Identify the trap. Just name it. Okay, that was Jumping Jack. Or, oops, Psychic Suki moment there.
Got it. Notice it and name it. What's step two?
Step two is actively looking for other possibilities. Asking yourself, okay, what else might be true here? Challenging that first thought.
They use Jumping Jack again, right? Seeing dark clouds.
Yeah, his immediate thought is, oh no, huge storm coming. That's the trap.
So step one is recognizing that's Jumping Jack, jumping to conclusions. Step two would be?
Step two would be thinking, well, hang on, dark clouds could mean just a little bit of rain. Or maybe they'll just blow past altogether.
Right. It's not definitely a disaster. There are other, maybe less scary options.
Exactly. It's about deliberately broadening your view beyond that first, often automatic negative prediction.
And there's a third step, too. Something about detective thinking.
Yes, looking for evidence for and against your thoughts. But maybe we save digging into that for another time. It builds on these first two.
Okay, perfect. So to wrap this part up then, the big idea seems to be we all make these fast judgments, these snap interpretations,
Uh-huh. And we can all fall into these common thinking traps, these unhelpful patterns.
and just becoming aware of that, realizing that there's almost always more than one way to see a situation. That's really the starting point for thinking more flexibly.
It absolutely is. Awareness first.
So maybe something for you listening to think about. Was there a time recently, maybe even today, where your first reaction felt really strong, maybe negative?
Yeah. Could that have been a thinking trap, like a jumping jack or a negative Nina moment?
And if so, what else could have been true about that situation? Just considering that. It's a powerful first step.
Definitely something to mull over. And it sets us up nicely for exploring how we actually go about changing those thoughts next time.
Sounds great. Thanks for
Bye.
taking this deep dive with us.